We're here on some a very large amount of rubbish that's been picked up through the structure. Can you first start with the base structure that you did here?
Well, really, this one was to demonstrate that it can all be done with vegetation, but there was 2 rows of rocks that I actually laid grass on, kikuyu grass and a few mixed grasses, and but they were set up in, I often explain to you this pattern.
Yes.
They were set up in that pattern like
the water
so.
flowed through them.
Yes, yep. And so that allowed them to stay. I did plant reeds in a chain of ponds, so from here where we're standing to about 50 yards down, there's a natural miniature chain of ponds wetland system. Like this would be exactly what Sturt talked about, being 50 miles wide and 50 miles deep. And of course, every flood event, this would happen at the head of the chain of the wetland. All the coarse vegetation and stuff would be filtered, or floating vegetation would be filtered out.
Yep.
And then, as you can see, the water is trickling through it and feeding the rest of the system.
Okay. And so we've got now a mass of weeds starting to colonise.
This is over a metre and a half deep now. This
I can feel as we walk on it, it's very spongy.
And now the weeds and that are growing, and obviously trees love it. They don't, and these have been buried. They've been buried a metre and a half or more, those willows. And it doesn't matter. There's a casuarina over there buried just as much.
But it's got its roots in that mulch now, and so it's got enough oxygen to...
Absolutely. See, it's standing in water, but it has got that roots, yeah. It has got that. So as they grow, the natives can do it, provided there's a lot of mulch. Yeah. As soon as we take the mulch out of the system and they are caught at water level and they don't have those roots in the air...
The roots can't breathe.
That's right, and then they go.
So below us here, just through a very simple structure, you've created an absolute jungle of vegetation that has caught hundreds of tonnes of vegetation matter here and made a mini weir.
Which is triggering carbon sequestering in a massive amount, and we'll go down further. In fact, we can go to the bottom of this next step and you'll see that what is here has just got a huge carbon sink happening.
Okay.
I mean, this one is only the trigger, the foundation for carbon extraction from the atmosphere.
And the Phragmites that's gone berserk there is...
the best example will be when we know what's behind, and if we move from here to see what the result is, then it's self-explanatory.
And Peter, when we turn around and look upstream, there's none of this mass, well, none of the vegetation has been caught. It's a fairly open stream there. We see a willow growing in the water that's looking very healthy, but there's no casuarinas or tea tree growing in it.
No, you won't. You won't get them growing in that side. And they have, at times, there has been millions growing in there. That's just up there where we were looking, is where I found 120 in a square foot, just about 50 yards up.
Okay, and they were growing in the base, but now they've been flooded.
They've just been flooded and they die, yeah. And so, you can put them in here and they will live, because once you get to where the water's starting to trickle, they'll live. But while it's ponded, even though that water's all moving, it's the pressure. It's got to be the only thing that varies.
Okay. And yet the casuarinas that are growing on the side there, they're now getting the pressure from the water in the artificial
trees.
stream.
See, there's a whole series of tea trees there. They're getting pressure from the artificial system.
Okay.
So they will now be flood proof as well.
Fantastic.